What is up, guys? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is my prize picks breakdown for UFC 283. We have Jamahal going against Gilbert Teixeira. We have a 15-fight card. A lot of options this week on prize picks, and definitely looking forward to it and talking about what sticks out here. Before we get started and get to the picks, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio if you have not already, and if you have not signed up for prize picks, be sure to do so, and be sure to do so using promo code PubSports and get a deposit bonus there. But going to talk through these strikes first. We got significant strikes. We got Oliveira 42, Nunes 52, Dalby 40, McKinney 21, Stamen 60, Bonfim 51, Almeida 18, Rodrigues 43, Potieria 37, 22 for Johnny Walker, Andrade 65, Burns 50, Moreno 107, and then Jamahal 40.5. Yeah, not a ton sticking out for these significant strikes here. I will bring up two that I kind of like. So I like the Nunes under significant strikes here, under 52.5. I do think she finishes fair and pretty early here. But I do like Nunes for something, down the road that we'll talk about. So I'm not going to use her strikes here, but I do think the under for the strikes in Nunes makes a lot of sense. And then the other one that stuck out for me is going to be the Rodrigues, and it's going to be the under as well. 43.5 significant strikes. I think he finishes this fight early against Brunno Ferreira. It's not something I completely love, but it is something that kind of stuck out for the strikes. Everything else, Terrence McKinney, it's up in the air. He could land one strike, right? Or he could land, over 20.5 easily. It's a tough one there. Same thing with Almeida. Like, he could land no strikes. He could get a takedown and get a submission, or he can go out there and land a ton of ground and pound and get that over 18.5. Johnny Walker's, a tough one as well. He can land one knee. It could take one strike, or, maybe he lands a couple on Paul Craig. So not a ton sticking out on the significant strike section, but the two that did was Nunes and Rodrigues, and the under for the significant strikes, but nothing I'm in love with yet. All right, next we have the fight time, and this is where I like a little bit more stuff here. We have Simon Oliveira, 12.5 fight minutes. Josiane Nunes, 11 minutes fight time. Dalby, 12.5. McKinney, 4.5. Bonfim, 10. Almeida, 4. Potieria, 7.5. Walker, 5. Andrade, 12.5. Burns, 14.75. And then Jamahal, 7.5. So we'll talk about the one that sticks out right away. Talked about Nunes a little bit with her significant strikes. I think she finishes fair in the very first round. Which is nice that we're getting 11 minutes here, because it also covers the second round, right? And then 1 minute into the third round. So I like this Nunes under 11 minutes, and she should be ashamed of herself if she does not finish this fight within the first 5 minutes there. So I like Nunes. I like the under. Probably my favorite spot so far. Not touching the Oliveira. I lean over. Not touching the Dalby. I lean over. McKinney, 4.5. I would like at least a 5 or 6 for that. Would lean under. Almeida, 4. Not touching it. I don't hate this one either. So Ihor Potieria, he is going against Shogun Rua. And it's another fight where I think Potieria does knock out Shogun, and I think it's very early. When Potieria is winning fights, it's typically in the very first round, and I don't think he's the best fighter. I think he's very fraudulent record, but he's taken on a 41-year-old Shogun who's retiring after this fight, a Shogun who has been washed for a while now. So yeah, Potieria should go out here and I think starch Shogun. So for me, it's another under here on Potieria for the 7.5 minutes. And then another under I like. I like Johnny Walker, Paul Craig under. I see this fight playing out one of two ways. Either Johnny Walker goes out there and knocks out Paul Craig, or the other way I see it playing out is Paul Craig, either pulls guard, or Johnny Walker makes a mistake and follows Paul Craig down to the mat, and Paul Craig gets a submission. I like the stylistic matchup for this fight going under, so definitely liking some violence on these minutes here. So again, I like Nunes fight time under 11 minutes. I like the Potieria fight time under 7.5 minutes, and I like Johnny Walker fight time under 5 minutes. I think there's a lot of violence on this card, and those are 3 violent spots that stick out. And even like the Burns fight time, I think Burns finishes Magny. So even like the Burns fight time under 14.75 makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, 4 here that I really do like from a minutes perspective here on Prize Picks. All right, we will go to the takedowns here. We have Simon Oliveira 1.5, Cody Stamen 2.5, Almeida 1.5, Moreno 2. Gilbert Teixeira 2.5. So This is a tough one. I mean, Almeida, it could take one takedown. It could literally take one takedown. Because if he's taking down Shamil, I don't think Shamil's getting up. So it's a little scary, but I'd actually lean the under for Almeida takedowns. I think it's one and done there. This is one I feel a little bit better about with Cody Stamann. I know Stamann's a phenomenal wrestler, we know that, but he's going against a pure grappler in Luan Lacerda, legit BJJ black belt, a guy that's very dangerous on the mat. I think if Cody's smart here, he's going to use his defensive wrestling to keep this on the feet. He's not going to want to take down Luan Lacerda, you wouldn't think. So I would lean the under on Cody Stamann, and I like that quite a bit. But yeah, the Almeida one makes sense, but it's scary because he could easily get two, but I think it's one and done for him. Not touching the Teixeira, not touching the Oliveira, not touching the Moreno, but these were the two that did stick out for the takedowns here. Under for Almeida and under for Stamann. All right, and then we will finish with the fantasy score here. We got Simon Oliveira 88, Nunez 104, Dalby 69, McKinney 90, Stamann 89, Bonfim 91, Almeida 121, Rodrigues 112, Potieria 96, Walker 94, Andrade 97, Gilbert Burns 101, and Brandon Moreno 95, and then Jamahal Hill 90. So we'll kind of go through these one by one. Yeah, I mean, Simon Oliveira, this 88.5, I don't know. I don't like that. I think I'm actually picking Marcos to win the fight, first of all, so that's another reason to, or for me to at least like the Daniel Marcos side and for me to like the under here on Prize Picks. Another thing is I don't think he has the best wrestling. I'm not sure he's going to be able to take down Marcos here. I think Marcos is going to have the striking advantage. I think Simon Oliveira, for him to pay off this 88.5 and go over, I think it's going to have to be a submission and probably an early submission as well. So yeah, I do like this under for Simon Oliveira. That's one thing I'll put up here. Nunez, I'm already liking the fight time. Not going to touch the score. Dalby's a pretty terrible fantasy scorer, to be honest. Just doesn't throw any volume. He's not going to go for takedowns here. He could maybe get a late finish if Alvarez does go out there and gas out. I do like that under. I like the less here for Dalby. I mean, I'm picking Warley Alvarez to win, so just another reason for me to like this less. And like I said, he doesn't do anything at all. So, yeah, it should be a pretty easy there, 69.5. One of the worst fantasy scores on the entire slate, actually. McKinney, not touching it. I think that fight can go either way. Stamann, 89.5, not touching it. Bonfim, not touching that. Almeida 121.5. That's a lot, but I could see it. I think he does finish a meal, and I think he does do it early, but 121 is a bunch. Not touching Rodrigues, not touching Ihor Potieria, not touching Johnny Walker. Jéssica Andrade is somebody I'll take the more with. I mean, she's very good in terms of scoring DraftKings points and fantasy points overall. 97.5. I think she can get 100 in a win here. I think she has finish upside, takedown upside, volume upside, knockdown upside, and yeah, when she's winning, she's scoring very, very well. So yeah, I do like the over for Jéssica Andrade. She's a big favorite. I don't expect her to lose, so I would lean that over there. Burns not touching it, Moreno not touching it, and then Jamahal Hill not touching it. So gonna kind of go through my favorite spots. I'll talk about my 4 favorite spots overall and see if we can come up with something here. So one of my favorite spots on the entire slate here is going to be probably the fight time, and it's going to be the under for Jose and Nunez. I'm going to take the less there. In terms of the significant strikes, nothing I really love there. In terms of the takedowns, I'm going to say the under for Cody Stamann. If I'm Cody Stamann, I'm not shooting any takedowns here, so we'll see what happens. I mean, he can get them if he wants them, but why would he against Luan Lacerda? It just wouldn't make sense. He's a much better striker, so I would say the under for Stamann for takedown. So I like these two a lot. And then, other than that, Johnny Walker, Paul Craig, less than 5 minutes. I think this fight finishes in the first round. Striker versus grappler matchup. Johnny Walker, KO, or Paul Craig sub. And then see if we can find anything in the fantasy score. Fantasy score, I will go with, it's close between the Dalby and the Oliveira. I like those both. And I like the Andrade over. I'll take the, I'll take the Dalby under. I think the Dalby goes under. So those are some of my favorites there. We got Jose and Nunez under 11 minutes fight time. Cody Stamann under 2.5 takedowns. Johnny Walker under 5 minutes fight time. And then the Dalby under 69.5 fantasy score. So, yep, guys, that is the prize picks breakdown for this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio. I'll be getting this video out either every Wednesday or Thursday each week. And yeah, lots of options to work with this week. So let me know what you guys like down in the comments. And best of luck for UFC 283. Use that promo code, Pub Sports. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Best of luck. See ya.